Tired Megs here, and today I am getting started on refinishing my husband's dresser. As you can see, it's blue, which we're going to keep it blue, but it needs a little facelift. And being as I be, I am going to also add a little awesome stencil. And Zahava, we shall see, since we're going to be doing some sanding and things like that. I don't know if she's going to stick around for that or not. Once I start the sander, I'm pretty sure she might dart right towards the camera, trying to get inside. Rohana's behind the camera here, and she's probably going to run inside. So my helpers may not like this loud noise right now. But to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to take off out the drawers. This is a really sturdy, really nice dresser. It doesn't have much element to it. I mean, it's pretty much just a box dresser, very well built inside and everything. So that's why I'm adding the stencils on behind, got new knobs and handles for it. And so we'll just take it step by step. So the top I'm going to actually be staining. So we're going to keep that just bare wood. And the rest will be this nice blue, navy blue, and with this white stencil on the front. So, all right, let's get to work. Finished, all sanded off. The top is still giving me a little bit of problem, so I went back into my husband's workshop, well, our workshop now, and I found one last piece. This stuff feels like gravel or concrete, so I'm hoping that this will do the job. And again, I'm just sanding all of it off the top, and then I'll take a finer piece and just rough up some of the sides and the front and everything, since I'm painting over them anyway. So unless you are restaining a piece, obviously you don't have to sand all the way down to the wood. Unless you're afraid that gouges, different things like that, you can do that. It's really up to you. But if you are repainting, majority of the time, depending on the type of paint you use, you don't have to sand it all the way down to the wood. So let's give this one a try. And hopefully it will go a little faster. It's only been about probably 15-20 minutes. But you know, you just hope it goes as fast as all the shows go and you're in like time lapse and fast forward. So we'll see how it is. But I can show you so far, that's only been a couple minutes, and I've made some progress with this thicker little sandpaper here. And we'll just keep going at it. Gotta get this side done and then do all of the drawers. And so I will catch you when I get done with that, and I'm about to start on the next process. So see you in a little bit. All right, we're back. Are we back? Are we back? I think we're back. Kitties, are you okay? I think the kitties are okay. They're stretching. She's on her leash. Do-do-do. You good, Zahava? I think she's good in the sun, right? Yep, she's good in the sun. Feels nice today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I'm trying to figure out. I don't think I'll be able to finish it today. But I have a back room, which I might do. But anyways, so I have it sanded. I sanded the sides. I sanded the edges and the bottom. That's why it's laying down. And I'm about to sand the front of it. And I mean, the front of it, all the dresser drawers. But again, I'm just roughing it up, getting off any loose paint, anything like that before I paint again. And so that's what we're doing now. So now I've got it all sanded. I just wiped off a lot of the dust and everything off the top, and I'm gonna start staining the top just because that's what I thought would be best. I think you could do either or. You can paint first if you want to, or you can motorcycle, or you can stain first. I'm deciding to stain because obviously I can paint over it if I get on the paint. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so I have my finishes. Actually, I'm trying to decide. I've got a darker one called Mission Oak, but it's been opened and used, so I don't know what's inside, but I think that's what I want because I have darker wood in our room. And then I have English Chestnut, which has never been opened. So that's my backup if this one isn't working too well. But, oh, it's a little thick. It's a little thick. I need to get a stir stick. I'll be right back. I mean, certain things you want to do is not use really old product, and I really don't know how old this is, so I'm thinking probably no good anymore, so we're gonna have to go with the English Chestnut. I mean, the one thing that's probably gonna happen if you don't watch out, it's not gonna be an even coat, it's not gonna be an even color, it's gonna be probably bubble, things like that. So we are going to go with our English Chestnut. All right, so got the top all stained. So it's real nice. I did it real thick because I wanted nice and dark and to soak in. And so that is the next step. Next, I'm going to wipe down the rest of it and start getting painted with the blue. But we need to lay down some protective, even though we're outside. So we'll see you after I got all that done. All right, so here we go. We're prepped. I'm actually going to be mixing 2 blues. And the reason why is, one, my husband likes the color blue that it is, but we're going to change it up a bit. So I wiped it all down, got all the dust off it, at least for the main part. And then, so actually I got this Sherwin Williams very dark, let's see, Anchors Away color. This is a very, very, very dark navy blue. And so I want to lighten it up, give it a little bit of a, we got this, another marine blue. And so I'm just going to mix them real quick together. And I need to get a stir stick, so I'll be right back. It is your decision. I better back up. You better not get paint on the cement. We just poured it last fall. So, yeah. So, anyways, being an artist, I always love playing colors, mixing colors, and things like that. Just want to move it. Can you see what we're doing? A lot of dust on there. Nope, I think that's not better. Alright, here we go. I've got Sahava and Rohana here. They're my inspectors. They're making sure I'm doing everything right. So maybe you can't see it very well, but I'm gonna show you here better in the light. Whoa, I'm shadowing it, aren't I? Boop. How about this way? Sorry, make you dizzy. Here we go. We've got the top hull, which I'll probably do a second coat, and then the front that we're getting all covered in this nice blue, navy blue. So you can use, obviously, you can use rollers if you wish. You can use brushes. On top, I just used the brush. It absorbed really, really fast. Some people use like sponge brushes and things like that. But I'm gonna finish up the dresser drawers now, and I'll probably see you tomorrow when it's all dry and I'm ready to do stenciling and things like that. So, see you later. Bye. Hi guys, we're back. It's a couple days after, and we've had to move it inside because it's a rainy weekend. So I've pretty much prepped the whole room got plastic over things. This is a room that we haven't quite decided what we're gonna do with yet, and we are just being able to utilize it. So I did a second coat on all of the dresser because I was seeing some spots and things like that, and I just wanted to say, like, obviously I didn't wear protective glasses, didn't wear a mask, but obviously that's probably what you should do because it's the best. I get a little excited and I forget about those things until all of a sudden I've got like dust in my eyes and I'm blinking and getting out and everything like that. But also some other pointers that I probably didn't talk about is your brushes. I mean, I would say if you're just starting out, like, start with smaller brushes. Don't jump to a nice big one thinking I can spread like a whole bunch all over the place until you feel more comfortable with it. But I would start with, a smaller one. Obviously you can tape what you need to tape. I didn't tape either just because I'm a little bit, I didn't feel like I was gonna have any problems with lines or anything. But if you feel uncomfortable with the brush, go ahead and tape the certain areas that you don't want painted, and all that kind of fun stuff. So another thing I did was the top looked really good. I didn't want to do a second coat on it, so I then went and was deciding between what kind of cover I wanted, like a top coat, and I went with Rust-oleum's spray, and I really liked how the finish was on it. And I mean, you can do like a liquid one that you paint on if you want. So I mean, this probably coats a little bit thicker, but I don't think this is going to be, but this is the other type that I usually use to make sure that it's more durable. And so this one gives it a nice shine without being too thick, and this one is less. I just go with this one a lot of times just because it's faster drying and you can use it on wood or metal or anything like that. So now we are going to do the stencil on this one, and I picked a stencil that had a star effect because my husband likes space and NASA and all those types of things. So I went and got, it's a little chewed up. Sahava likes chewing things, but I got it's from Royal Stencil. Love their stuff online. I'll post the link below. And this is the Shibori furniture stencil. And I've never used their furniture stencils yet. And so as you can see, we're going to, you see that a little bit, see all the stars, and that is what we're going to work on. And I highly recommend getting stencil brushes. They're very flat. They're very, you can can utilize, because when you're doing a stencil, you want to make sure that you have a very even flow to it all. And so we are going to use what they call a, this is a Divine White by Sherwin Williams. And yes, lately I've just been exclusively using Sherwin Williams because they are my peeps and everything. So just trying to get this one. I didn't want to go pure bright white just because I want to soften it a little bit and go with something a little bit than just bright white. And so to start with, you get your tape and you plan out your stencil. So for right now, I'm going to start in the center because it has the stencil line, has a nice clean line right here. And this top part, you can see it has a line distinguishing the two sides where the poles are going to be. The rest of them don't, but we're still going to utilize that line. And this stencil is a nice light plastic. So I have to just make sure that it is. Don't have to worry about curling too much. Some of the more paperish type ones are a little bit harder to handle. Pretty much what I'm going to do is just tape either side so it lays nice and flat. Which another thing you can do is you can lay the dresser down on its back and lay this on top, which might be a little bit more gravity's helping you. But today I'm going to keep it up. And really all you need to do is, the one thing about stenciling is you want to make sure that you don't have too much paint on your brush. So I usually take some sort of little container and I just take a little bit here on my brush and you dab it off. You dab it off so that you've got a nice even little flow. And pretty much you just dab away. Because if you get too much on your brush, then you're getting a little bit more of that the paint can go underneath, and that's when you start getting weedy. To not have your stencil tight enough. Oh, and my light bulb is not wanting to work. Woo, that's so good. Got the fan on, so that's probably what's kicking it. And obviously, the more you can have it be real subtle, or you can have it be more intentional, and you just keep dabbing. But again, don't do too much at one time. Alright, so now I'm going to examine. You gotta kind of look and make sure how evenly each spot is, because if you don't make sure that you have that, then you're gonna have missed spots. Sorry, make things work here. All right. Right here, see, we're making sure all the little dots are filled in evenly. And that is looking at each one, kind of make sure that, you know, they're a little even. Make sure that there are none that are skipped. I have an indent in here, so that one's going to be a little bit difficult. But when we're pulling it off, you want to try to pull it straight off. There shouldn't be too much excess if I was being careful. And there we go. We got our first little section. And because this is probably still wet right now, I'm going to go straight down, and we're going to wipe off the back a little bit because I have a couple spots that I can see that went through, and I just want to make sure it won't bleed the next spots we go in. I think I went a little crazy over the indent there, so that's why I want to make sure we have that. We're going to move down because we want that to dry first and foremost. probably need to do is definitely get new tape so that the tape is staying sticky, because you definitely want to make sure that it is not sliding around. As you saw, I don't know if you saw it because obviously I'm gonna put it in fast forward, but it slipped off one time that I was doing one of the parts, and because the paint's wet, I don't want to go try to stick it back on there. Give it a little bit of time, and then you stagger your stencil until you're able to go back and feel confident that it is going to be a really good fit and it's going to work. And so maybe you're wondering, how do you do a stencil in a way that it's all aligned and it works? And we'll see if my camera can pick this up when we move to the other side. And as I line up the stencil, let's move this in nice and close. Make sure I'm not getting any paint. But obviously we got a little extra on this first try here. But I'm going to line up this little circle burst on top of this little circle burst. And then when you're going, there's going to be lines too that connect. It connected more when I was going down. You're connecting this circle burst and a couple of these lines as you're moving down. So it takes a little bit of time. You want to make sure that both circle bursts are visible, and then you don't want to reapply too much paint over the top of what you've already painted. So what I'm looking for right now is the center big circle of this one, and then all the little dots right here are filled in with white. As you can kind of see in the video, you're not seeing much blue in between. You're seeing that it's all filled in with paint, more white than it is not. So that is how you get your stencil to continue on and be the pattern just continue on and everything. So I'm going to just continue on and do what we're doing here. All of it done, but now I'm trying to decide, do I create a line like these ones down here to block it in, or do I finish this whole drawer where you've got this much ledge and this much ledge? But because these are going to have two instead of just a single pull knob, I think I'm going to follow the line right up here to give it a little bit more definition. But, you know, sometimes it's really good just to get a cup of coffee and step back and kind of look at it and make a decision. Because really, ultimately, you have to look at it if you're keeping it or not. So, I'm gonna grab my coffee, look at it for a few minutes while you look at the entire thing from top to bottom, and I will make a decision after that. Sipping away, and I think I feel like it's almost done, so I'm just gonna do those lines right up in here. So what I have to do, obviously, is flip my stencil around, because it was going this way where the lines, like right here, were on the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip them upside down, line it all up, and so only those lines should be showing. And I'm going to pull the dresser drawer out. And again, you can, because I wanted this to be one even simultaneous flow, I kept it in the dresser so they were all nice and lined up and wouldn't move. And this one I could have pulled out and done flat, so you're using gravity, you can just lay flat, which is a little bit easier. But that's the way I do it in the video. But for you, you definitely can do what's the easiest for you. And also, I highly recommend wiping off the back. Obviously, my pans are paint pans and wax with them, but I found it really easy just to take this and just give it a nice little swipe, and there we go. Look at that. Alright, so finished it, so we got a nice solid line. It feels like it's complete up here, it feels like it's complete. The bottom's got the finishing lines, and that's got the finishing lines. So pretty much it's really whatever you like to do, because to make it feel finished, make it feel complete. I mean, if you liked not having that, then that's fine. That's totally up to you. It's your design style. So after that, I totally recommend, you know, if you're somebody who wants to take breaks because it's pretty tedious, Stencil can took about, I think, 2.5 hours or so to complete this piece. And I am highly recommend if somebody you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, is this done yet? Why is this not done? Why can't I go fast forward like in the videos? Take a break, but highly recommend to take a plastic bag and wrap up some of your paint things so that it doesn't dry out, helping it not air out, wrapping paper bags around some of your other paint brushes, the blue one, I believe, you know, so it's still wet. As long as you just cover it up, you can give it a day or two. Sometimes sticking them in the fridge is also another thing to just preserve it for a little bit. And then, so yeah, so that is it. You can wash your stencil out right away if you want. But the finishing thing that we need to do is put on the handles. I decided to get brushed gold, as that is what we have a little bit in our room that is going into. And so I got these from Menards. If I can get them open in my house. And obviously, if you're going to be doing this, make sure you remember to measure your holes in between the two because they come in different sizes. If they don't, if you want a different, if you find like needles that you love, you just go ahead and you get something called wood filler or wood putty type of thing. And after you've sanded, you fill those holes in and you let those dry. And then before you paint or after you paint, depending on how you feel, maybe after the first layer and it's dry, you go ahead and measure and you mark out where you want the new handles to go and you drill new holes in there. I would recommend it before you do the stencil, just because obviously if you do it before this or after the stencil, that's fine too because you have less gap, which also sometimes can hinder some of the things, but I'm going with the same type of hole. So here is the little knobs that are going to go on top, like right there. I gotta open up all the rest of them, and then I've got little gold handles that are going to go on the bottom. That is how you stencil a dresser. Let me know what you think, what you liked, what you didn't like. I need to hear it all because this is my first video and I just need you to tell me. I want you to subscribe so you can see other things that I've done, and I just want to say I appreciate you guys and I appreciate the time to just enjoy all the creative and inspiring things. Bye, inspired ones!